Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Hi, Susan.
We
Hi,
did
Libby.
it! Yay!
So,
We're here.
hello, people. We decided to do a conversation tonight about the power of the pivot, and we have had nothing but challenges to just even get on here with y'all and to be on with each other. So, pivot, 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 pivot over and over. So it was really, I guess, the universe's way of saying, okay, you want to pivot? Here, let's have some opportunities. So we're thankful. We're a little bit late, but we're thankful to be here with you. And yeah, the ability to pivot is critical. We've all learned. So my name is Linda Downey. If you're just seeing us for the first time, I'm a transformational health and whole life coach, and I'm going to let my friends and colleagues, Libby and Susan, introduce themselves to you, and then we're going to dig in just for a few minutes about pivoting and how it can make a difference for you.
Well, my name is Libby Wright. I am a wellness coach, and I also work with physicians, and my specialty is working with very, very sick patients who do not have good outcomes in their future to make a very good life for themselves. I also work with physicians who want to transition from straight traditional practice to adding in some functional and integrative modalities.
Awesome. Thanks. Susan?
I was about to say I'm a master pivoter. So, hey, yes. I too am a health and wellness coach, and specifically, I'm a certified Fast Like a Girl coach trained by Dr. Mindy Peltz, who has authored the book Fast Like a Girl, Eat Like a Girl, the Menopause Reset, and lots of others that are making a huge difference in people's lives. So I am thrilled to be here.
Yeah. So when you say you're the master of the pivot, Susan, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what does that look like for you?
Well, actually, I say pivot because pivot seems like very abrupt to me, but I actually think the flow, right? I have learned to flow and be okay with diving into the future with some uncertainty because I know that I have the ability to flow with it and to change and to if I plan this, I can pivot another direction and welcome whatever opportunities come when I have to take a different course. And I think that is one of the beautiful things that come with age and wisdom, knowing that we will get through this and nothing is forever. This too shall pass.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah,
helpful when
I
you
love
and not resist.
Sorry.
I was going to say, and with that, life is much better when you're able to flow and pivot and not resist the changes or the unexpected.
I like that distinction because, I hadn't thought of it that way, but when you did that, like pivoting can be a little bit abrupt. And sometimes we have to move abruptly. Sometimes we have to be quick in our adjustment. But I love the concept of the flow. And I really like it because all of us work with women. The program that we want to share with you is for specifically women. And being in flow is a feminine attribute. When we look at the masculine and the feminine, men, cause outcomes, problem solve, get things done, and women flow. Women use their intuition. Women relax into and allow. Not that men and women don't have opportunity to have both of those, obviously. But when you look at masculine versus feminine traits, for whatever reason they're called that, that's some of the feminine traits. And so I think that it's really applies to this conversation. How about you, Libby? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that we learn, especially as we're aging as women, is that a lot of the things that we used to think were so important and that we needed to control the outcome of, we
Mm.
realize are not as nearly as important as they are. In fact, I was just riding. I was driving up with my son to an appointment today. We had like an hour-long drive, so we were listening to a comedian, and this comedian was talking about how he had a sister that was 10 years younger than him, and how he had been raised by this one group of people, and then she had been raised by her best friends who were also his parents, and just what a different growing up experience they had had because there had been this 10-year gap. And my son and I were laughing because he's part of the older set of our kids. And then we had a 4-year gap. Then we had two more. And he's like, you guys parented those other two completely differently. Like they have a completely different life than we had. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You got, and they got some great parts of us, right? Like they got the fresh, energetic, we're going to take over the world parenting style. My younger kids were like more free range children, shall we say. By 3 and 4, I was just broken and tired. And so, but I mean, we just, as we age, we can really realize that we were majoring on minors a lot. And
Mm,
we realized that we can let some things go that used to just, we like, I realized how, well, first of all, I think as you age, you realize how little you actually do control anything or can control anything. So flow becomes really important because you just own that that's the way the world works. But I also think that we also, when there's so much freedom in not feeling like we have to control everything, and
mm.
and instead flowing with, not that we have to just be the victims of our circumstances and be rudderless, but there's power in not feeling like we have to control everything and
Yes,
being able to
huge.
distinguish the difference.
Yeah, 100%. So as we talk about this and then again into something more specific, we would love it if you're listening live, if you pop in a comment, what is your experience with pivoting? Do you find that really difficult? Are you sometimes really locked into it's got to go a certain way, it's got to look a certain way? Or have you found that pivoting, has really served you? And if you're watching the replay later, same thing. We would love to know where you're from, because this is streaming in multiple places between the three of us, a lot of places, and we can't see all the comments in the moment, but we will get back to you. So please say hello, and please let us know what you think about pivoting. And then what we're going to lead into is really the pivot from being a woman who's in years of reproducing, nurturing others, and pivoting into the possibility of nurturing yourself. And that comes at a time when all that other stuff is done. And we like to call that menopause. So, yeah. Susan, do you want to share anything about our second spring program?
Oh, absolutely. I'm thrilled to be a part of it, first of all. And I love that we are taking this approach that menopause is not the end. It's not it doesn't have to be something painful. It is stepping into the greater flow of who we are, into this next best chapter, what I truly believe can be our next best chapter, because we're wiser, we have all these lived experiences, and we're bringing that forth for ourselves, and really setting a new trajectory for young women who are coming after us.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that, to share some of these concepts, these really powerful concepts that I think many of us did not learn until we're in the throes of it. And we're like, please help me.
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed. And one of the things I love about this conversation too is the fact that we had an idea for how we wanted to collaborate, right? We're like, oh, let's do this 9-week program. Let's, cover all these amazing topics. Let's go deep with everybody. And as we did our little mini course, we discovered that maybe that would not be serving our target audience, our future clients, the very best. Because I don't know about y'all, but I get into overwhelm easily because I thought when my kids were grown, things would be simpler and calmer and I would have less going on. But really, I have as much or more. And so what we heard from our through the mini course that we did was we should pivot into doing something that's a little more manageable for the people who want to participate. So let's talk about that
Mm.
just a little bit. Let's pivot into that.
Yeah. Well, as you said, and for anybody listening, we had created a course using the very specific and unique tools and a background that we each have, and bringing that to a course geared towards women, either pre, peri, or all the way through menopause into post. And we really felt like 9 weeks is what we needed to do. And we put it all together. And then listening to the people who did our little mini course, which we ran 2 weeks ago. If you didn't, it was a free little course. If you missed it, not a big deal. But what we heard afterwards is, I don't have 9 weeks, or it's too much. So we really recognized that, we can serve people better by taking that and just chunking it down into what is the most important information that we would want you to have. So I'm going to let Susan share hers, because she's actually going to start when we run the course, because I think her stuff is really fabulous and will make a huge difference in your physical body. So we started with that, and then we'll go from there. But Susan, would you share like what we're going to cover, as we actually went down to just 4 weeks, right? That's what we settled on, 4 weeks.
And just to give people a little concept of what this course is going to be like overarching. So it's 4 weeks, and the first 3 weeks we're going to talk about, we're going to explore, I should say, the present you. Week 2, we'll talk about the past you. Week 3, we're going to go into the future you, your future self. And week 4, we're going to bring it all together in some integration that you can carry forth into your life and just continue to develop it and go deeper. And so you're going to get a great introduction to all aspects of what we do, but enough to really dive deep on your own. And that's what we're really trying to do, is empower you with tools for life. And so different people will latch on to different parts of this, but my portion of it, we're going to start with the present you, because we're walking around in this physical body all day long, and it's usually the thing that speaks to us the loudest. And in many regards, sometimes it's the thing that's the hardest to shift, whether we are dealing with some kind of chronic health condition, maybe carrying around unwanted weight, or we can't sleep, or all of these things that come with the menopausal journey. Or maybe
all of the above.
Or all the above. Or maybe you're struggling with a scary diagnosis. And if that's you, we welcome you as well. This is an integrated, holistic approach for everyone that you can integrate into anything you're doing in terms of your conventional medical treatment. So my portion is going to be working with you on fasting, eating, and moving. I like to say like a girl, because I am going to bring in Dr. Mindy Peltz's incredible practices and principles and approach to wellness. I'm going to give you an introduction into how to fast properly, because women need to fast differently than men. And there's lots of information about fasting out there. And depending on where you are in your journey as a woman, it may or may not be right for you. So I'm going to talk about how to fast to balance your hormones, how to eat better to balance your hormones and overall well-being. And I'm even going to talk about how you move, not just exercise, but how you move for longevity. And so my intention, my heart, and my passion is to give you the tools that you can use to age well with greater health and vitality, and really stepping into your full purpose in this next journey. Because as we all know, if your health is out of whack, it is hard. You might have this great vision for your future self, or you might be really ready to let go and release some of that past, your past limitations, your past beliefs, but it's hard to do when you're really struggling on the physical level with your body. And so that's what we'll explore week 1, and it's going to be great. So join us.
All right. How about week 2, Linda?
Thank you.
Linda's going to take on.
I just want to say, Teresa left a comment. This looks like it's going to be an amazing course. Thanks, Teresa. We think it is. We think we really pulled in, like we said, what can give you the best rock solid foundation that you can go off and run with all of these parts. So week 2, we're going to look at what do we need to let go of in order to create the future that we want. Because if you're trying to now say, okay, who am I? My kids are grown. My body is different. I don't have the body I had when I was 20 or even 40. So my body's different. My identity is different. I'm not so consumed with nurturing everyone else around me. But if you don't actually really tie that up and you try to create something new going forward on top of that, it can get very icky, can get really squirrely, because all of that old identity, all of the things that we hold, and sometimes there's grief around, perhaps the children are grown and gone. There's grief around my body is different. Maybe there's grief around, well, I don't know about you, either one of you, but I have a lot of clients who come post divorce, because once the kids are grown, they're like, okay, here I am now, and the marriage doesn't work, and they don't stay together. So there might be grief around, I thought the life that I was going to have was going to look different, and it doesn't. It doesn't look the way I thought it would. So sometimes we need to handle grief, but even if there's not grief, there's other things that we carry with us. So we're going to work on in week 2, how do I complete it powerfully so that it serves me, so that the wisdom that's there for me to have, I have, and the wounding, perhaps, I let go of. No wounding, just wisdom. And we're going to work on the elements of what it takes to do that. So now your body has been working with Susan's tools for a solid week. Then we're going to dig in on that so that we start to get our spirit and our emotions and our thinking on board with the body. So now all of you is going in the same direction. And then Libby's going to pick it up on week 3.
Yes, week 3. I'm excited to share will be on your future. And what we're going to be talking about in the future is, well, first of all, we're going to be doing a really powerful exercise that involves our future self. It's going to be really, really fun and very enlightening. And just really talking about what kind of future do I want to create? And how do I best utilize the wisdom that Linda was just talking about, this body working in harmony, the way that Susan talks about, and then getting into how do I work in essence, work smarter, not harder, with who you are as a person, how you were designed, and what you need to do to go forward. So maybe there have been things like your whole life that you've beaten yourself up on, that you always wait till the last minute to do something, and then you do it fabulously, but you are not one of those planner people, and you just beat yourself up about that all the time. Owning that's who you are, loving that, planning for the no plan, so to speak, and saying, okay, well, it's just who I am. That night, I'm not going to sleep. Okay. And being okay with that, and releasing the brake, so to speak, to allow your future self to really emerge and be this most powerful version of you that has ever existed in this world. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah. And then on the 4th week, we're going to integrate all of that, right? We're going to put it all together, create a plan for you, with you, going forward. And any questions on any of that material that you've now had a few weeks to dig in on and see how you respond and what you think and what you've been able to integrate. So that week 4 is going to tie all of that together. Did I leave anything else out for week 4?
I think we're going to have a
Okay.
time where we can share and really talk about how this has impacted us. And if you want to, you don't have to share if you don't want to, but I think sometimes it's really great to share the insights and the celebrations and the wins that you've had, because it might open up something for someone else that they're like, oh, I never even thought about that, but that's true. Or, oh, that me too. When we create that energy of celebration and joy and gratitude, it's really powerful. So we want to celebrate you and what you have done, because at the 4-week mark of our time together, you will have gotten some great tools and hopefully made some really powerful directional changes that are going to serve you well for your future.
Yeah.
And along
one
with this
last
course,
oh, go ahead.
excuse me. I was going to say, along with this course, you're going to be able to interact with us individually. So you can message us. It's going to be on this beautiful platform that Libby's created called The Well. There'll be some weekly Q&A outside of the session time. So if you've got questions, because I know that happens a lot particularly in what I'm going to offer through the fasting, is everyone is so different. You're coming in at different stages, maybe whether it's diet and you're maybe you're plant-based, maybe you're not, maybe you've never fasted, maybe you have fasted. And so we can kind of help you dial that in as you're moving along. And that goes the same for all the parts of this course. So you'll get some additional resources. We're going to provide some things that you can go and explore on your own, because this is the beginning of a journey. We really want to emphasize that's what Second Spring is about. It's about moving into your next best chapter. Maybe Linda, you could share just a little bit of where that term comes from, because they're going to see that when they click into the link that says Second Spring, a new awakening to womanhood.
Yeah, I would love to share that, because about a year and a half ago, I got the idea for this program because I was reading something. I can't even remember where I came across it, but in the Chinese philosophy. So I'm always interested in Chinese medicine. I'm always interested in more holistic ways to live and to be well. So in Chinese philosophy, there is the Tao, if you've ever heard of the Tao, which is, it's thousands of years old. And one of the concepts in that is this idea of women become their best self at this time of life, their best self. It's not like, second fiddle to you being younger. It's actually what a lot of women in that culture strive for, is to get to this place. And you know yourself the best. You're your most authentic. You're the most connected to yourself internally. You're the most freely self-expressed. You're really in touch with your sexuality, with what you want in relationship, and you're not willing to settle, put faces on to please other people, keep yourself small, all of that. And when I was reading that, I was like, wow, that is amazing. I love that concept. And, I think that we know that a lot of other cultures revere older people as the place to look and to get your wisdom from. In our culture, we tend to not do that as much. And we would love to change that. We would love to have it. It's got to start that you feel that way about yourself first, so that you show up as that, so that the people around you actually recognize that's who's speaking over there, that person with all of those things. So about a year and a half ago, I had the idea for the program, and then it kind of sat on the back burner. And then we got together and really put, like, as I said, what our unique and specific tools and backgrounds were to create that. So the last thing I want to say is I just put in the comments the link. If you want to go in and check out the details, when it's going to start, what the dates are, what the investment is, all of that, you can just go ahead and click on that link. I see I got a little message, because this is streaming in so many places. It says that some comments aren't going to every destination. So we're going to go back in and make sure that everywhere that this event is being posted, that you have access to the link. So you can check it out and decide. You can reach out to us if you want more information. But we're going to start, I think, in 2 weeks, right? Not next week, but the following.
Yes,
Yeah.
and just so people understand, this is not a huge time commitment. That was the other thing that we really heard when we did our mini course, was that people did not have, hours and hours and hours every day to work on this course. So it's 1 hour a week where we're doing a live coaching session, just like what we're doing now. It's 60 to 90 minutes, I guess. We're going to open it up for questions at the end. But and then you have some work to do at home on your own time, as much as you want or as little as you want. And you can do this over time. You'll still have access to the course even if it's after it's over, so you can go back and listen and watch again and look at our resources. So it's really a great, for me, in the phase of life I'm in, I think, oh, I could do a month. Thinking about, 2 or 3 months can feel a little bit overwhelming, especially as we get into moving toward the fourth quarter of the year. It can feel a little bit like, oh, I cannot commit to one more thing. So the great thing is we're going to be completely done with this by mid-October. And we are going to make this course user-friendly and not overwhelm We're going to give you great information without the overwhelm. We want to help with the overwhelm, not cause more. So we've heard you, and that's why we have done a lot of the pivot we've done here. So
Yes, yes, yes. So that ties it up nicely. We pivoted on what our original vision was, and we think that this will really serve what we heard as feedback from people. We would love to know your thoughts too. And go ahead and click the link in the comments or send us any questions that you want.
yes, we can't wait to get started with y'all, and look forward to this time. It's going to be a really powerful time of just investing in you. You have invested in so many other people for so many years, if you're anything like all of us. And now it's time for you to invest in you and begin forging that new path forward for yourself. You deserve it. You deserve it.
100%. So thank you for listening. Please drop us any comment about anything. We'd love to hear from you, and just know that our voices reached you in some way, shape, or form. And we look forward to connecting again soon. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see y'all later.
Aloha.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.